It's something we hear all the time, isn't it? People putting in the hours with English textbooks, classes. But that easy, natural flow in conversation still feels just out of reach sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. You start wondering, is there like a smarter way? Something that actually clicks.
Exactly.
And that's precisely what we're digging into today. Forget the endless grammar drills for a second.
Okay.
We've got this really interesting source, a YouTube channel called Flow. And it focuses on a tool that's surprisingly powerful, but maybe a bit overlooked for learning English.
Which is?
Reading. Just plain reading.
Ah, right. So our mission in this deep dive, for you listening, is basically to unpack how reading can be this kind of shortcut to feeling more confident in English. We're talking boosting vocabulary, getting a better feel for grammar, understanding more.
Improving speaking and writing, too.
And even getting a sense of the culture behind the language. It's all about finding a way that's, enjoyable and effective.
Right. Without feeling like you're just drowning in information.
Exactly. Getting that knowledge quickly, thoroughly, but enjoyably.
And that really taps into what we know about you, the listener. You want efficient, deep learning. So we're showing how reading can be that engaging path.
Okay, so this Flow transcript really makes a strong case. Let's start with the basics, vocabulary. What's the big deal about picking up words through reading versus, say, flashcards?
Well, the key thing is context. Reading throws you into situations where words are actually used. It's totally different from just memorizing a list. Your brain learns the word and how it fits, It leverages that contextual learning.
Right. They had that great example, encountering the word thrilled in a sentence about fireworks.
Yeah.
Even if thrilled is new, the whole fireworks vibe, the excitement gives you clues. You figure, okay, it must mean something like really happy or excited.
Exactly. Your brain does the detective work. And it's not just about that one word, thrilled. No, because as you keep reading, you bump into related words. Maybe joyful, delighted, elated.
Synonyms.
Right. You start seeing these different shades of meaning for happy. Your vocabulary grows more organically without you consciously sitting down to memorize 5 synonyms for happy.
It feels more, embedded. Like you're seeing how the words actually live.
Precisely.
Okay, so that's words. But the transcript also talks a lot about grammar and how reading helps you absorb it almost unconsciously. How does that work?
Yeah, this is a huge one. Textbooks give you rules, right? Use this tense here. Reading shows you those rules in action over and over again. It's like learning by osmosis. Your brain just starts picking up the patterns of correct English.
They mentioned the present perfect continuous tense. She has been living in London for 5 years.
Right. And action started in the past, still going.
You might read sentences like that many times. You're not necessarily stopping to analyze the grammar every time.
No, you're probably just following the story.
But eventually you just kind of get when to use it. It starts to sound right.
Exactly. You develop an intuitive feel.
Yeah.
And it works for other tricky bits too, like prepositions in, on, at, or articles, verb tenses.
You just see them used correctly so often in so many different situations.
Yeah. It builds this deeper understanding that's more flexible than just knowing rules from a book.
And that naturally flows into the next big benefit. Comprehension. Understanding the bigger picture, not just the words.
Absolutely. Reading is like exercise for your brain's understanding muscles in English. You learn to follow ideas, opinions, even emotions. And crucially, you learn to get the main idea, the gist, even if there are words you don't know.
That seems super important for real life. Conversations aren't always perfect or clear.
Exactly. People mumble, they use slang, they make mistakes. If you can grasp the main point from reading, you're better equipped for messy, real-world talk.
So how does reading help you do that? Just practice.
Practice? Yeah, but also learning to use clues. The transcript mentions things like titles, headings, the overall tone. Is it serious? Funny? Informative?
Using the context again, but on a bigger scale.
Right. You piece together the meaning, make educated guesses. It's an active process.
Okay, this is where it gets really cool for now. The transcript says all this reading actually improves your writing and speaking. How did that leap happen?
Well, think about how you learn to write or tell a story in your own language.
I guess just by seeing it done, reading books, articles.
Exactly. Same applies here. You see how good writers build sentences, connect ideas, structure paragraphs. It gives you mental models.
Like blueprints for your own writing.
Sort of, yeah. And for speaking, the examples from dialogue in novels were spot on.
Oh, yeah. The hey, how's it going versus hello, how are you?
Right. Or asking directions. Could you tell me where the station is instead of just barking, where is the station?
It's that natural, everyday flavor of English. The stuff textbooks sometimes miss.
Totally. You absorb these common phrases, these natural ways of saying things. Like saying, I'm exhausted, instead of maybe a more literal, slightly stiff, I am very tired.
Just by seeing it in context?
Yep. It makes your own spoken English sound less like you learned it from a book. More authentic.
It's like building a mental phrase book, but one that feels natural. And it mentioned writing mechanics too, punctuation, organizing ideas.
Yeah, by seeing how it's done well, you start to pick it up. How commas clarify, meaning how paragraphs develop a point logically. It seeps in.
Okay, another angle that really jumped out was the culture connection. Reading isn't just about language mechanics, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Language is like soaked in culture. Reading is a fantastic window into how people in English-speaking places live, think, what they value.
They had examples like reading a story set in the U.S. might teach you about Thanksgiving or American high schools.
Right, or a British novel might show you about afternoon tea, London life, maybe that dry British sense of humor.
So you're not just learning words, you're learning context, like social context.
Exactly. You're getting insights into how people interact, their customs, their ways of thinking. It adds this whole rich layer to the language. Makes it come alive.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, and let's talk practical communication. This isn't just academic, right? Reading directly helps you talk to people.
Absolutely. The source calls it building a mental library of words and phrases.
Right, stuff you can actually pull out and use in a conversation.
Yeah. And seeing those dialogues we talked about, that helps you structure your own sentences more naturally when you're actually speaking. You've seen the patterns.
And maybe the biggest thing for speaking, the transcript mentioned how reading helps you start to think in English.
Yes. This is huge. Instead of constantly doing that mental translation from your native language.
Which really slows you down.
Totally. You start processing thoughts directly in English. It makes speaking feel much faster, more automatic.
They had that example. You read, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the beautiful sunset. Then later you see amazing fireworks. And you can naturally say, wow, I couldn't believe my eyes. The structure is just there, ready to use.
It's a perfect illustration. You've internalized the pattern through reading. And related to speaking, we can't forget reading aloud.
Oh, right. How does actually saying the words out loud help?
Well, it's crucial for getting used to the sounds, the rhythm, the flow of spoken English. You're physically practicing.
Getting your mouth around the words.
Exactly. It helps with pronunciation, makes the words stick in your memory better too.
And English has that stress thing, right, where you emphasize certain syllables.
Their example was, she was absolutely thrilled to receive the award. Reading it aloud helps you feel where that stress naturally falls.
It makes sense.
And they even suggest reading along with audiobooks.
Oh, so you hear a native speaker and try to copy them?
Yeah. Mimic their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation. It's like getting a free speaking coach.
And all this, the reading aloud, it just keeps reinforcing that shift towards thinking in English.
Right. It makes speaking feel less like constructing sentences piece by piece according to rules, and more like, well, just talking.
Okay, so the benefits are clear. Reading is powerful. But practically, how do you choose what to read? You can't just grab anything, right?
No, definitely not. The transcript gives some really solid advice here. First things first, match the material to your level.
Crucial. Don't want to start with Shakespeare if you're a beginner. You'll just get frustrated.
Exactly. For beginners, they suggest things like graded readers' books written specifically for learners.
Or short stories, kids' books, even comics or graphic novels. The pictures help a lot there.
Yeah. And for intermediate folks, maybe adapted classics. Simplified versions of famous books like Alice in Wonderland or The Little Prince.
What's a general rule of thumb?
Aim for something where you understand, say, at least 80% of the words.
Okay. Enough familiar words to follow along, but enough new ones to learn.
That's the sweet spot. Challenging, but not overwhelming. Keeps you learning without killing the enjoyment.
And speaking of enjoyment, the transcript really hammers home the importance of picking topics you actually like.
Oh, absolutely. If you're reading about something you're passionate about, sports, cooking, travel, whatever, it doesn't feel like work.
Right. If you love football, read articles about Messi or Ronaldo. You're learning English while engaging with something you enjoy anyway.
And blogs or websites about your hobbies are great too. The language is often a bit simpler, more informal. Good entry point.
So level and interest. Anything else?
Yeah. Variety. Mix it up. Don't just read novels.
Why is that?
Different formats help different skills. Books are great for vocabulary and complex sentences. Blogs give you informal, everyday English.
Magazines.
Good for current, real-world language use. Audiobooks, as we said, fantastic for pronunciation and listening.
So create a balanced reading diet.
Exactly. And switching it up keeps things interesting. Stops you getting stuck in a rut.
Okay, makes sense. So you found your material, right level, interesting topic, maybe a mix of types. Now, how do you actually do it? How do you build a reading habit?
Consistency is the name of the game here. The source suggests setting clear, achievable goals, daily or weekly.
Like?
Start small, maybe just 10 minutes a day. Or aim to read one short story a week.
Okay, manageable.
Then, as you get more comfortable, you can increase it. Maybe challenge yourself to read a whole chapter or a longer article.
Tracking progress helps too, right?
Yeah, they suggest a simple reading log, just date, title, maybe jot down a few new words. It helps you see how far you've come, which is motivating.
They give some beginner goals too, like read 1 page a day or finish 1 beginner book a month.
Little things like writing the goal down or setting a phone reminder can make a surprising difference in sticking to it.
And finding the time. That's always the challenge.
The trick is to link reading to something you already do every day. Attach the new habit to an existing one.
Like reading while you have your morning coffee.
Or during your lunch break. Or for 10 minutes before bed. Find those little pockets in your existing routine.
Technology can help here too, can it?
Oh, massively. Ebooks, reading apps like Kindle. You have a library on your phone.
And specific learning resources.
Yeah, things like Lingy for quick lookups, News and Levels for simplified news, BBC Learning English, lots of great stuff online. And audiobooks, of course, for listening on the go.
And making it pleasant helps, like creating a comfy reading spot.
Definitely. A quiet place, good light, maybe have your dictionary or notebook handy. Minimize distractions. Make it something you look forward to.
The transcript also had some neat ideas about squeezing reading into, like, dead time.
Right. Reading while you're waiting in line somewhere.
Or on your commute, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Or those few minutes just before you fall asleep. Those little bits really add up.
Okay, so we've got the why read, the what to read, the how to make it a habit. But reading in a foreign language isn't always easy. What about challenges, like hitting words you don't know?
Yeah, that's probably the number one issue. You're reading along, feeling good, then boom, a word stops you cold.
What do? Stop and grab the dictionary every time?
Not necessarily. The first strategy is try to guess from the context.
Yeah.
Look at the words around it. What's the sentence about? What's the overall topic? Often, you can make a pretty good guess.
They use the dazzling sun example, even if you don't know dazzling.
The words bright and sun give you a big clue. It probably means really, really bright. Use your detective skills.
Okay, so try guessing first. But what if you really can't guess, or it seems important?
Then, use a dictionary, but wisely. Read the whole sentence first, try to guess, then look it up. And maybe only look up words that seem really key to understanding or words you see popping up again and again.
And they recommended English dictionaries.
Yeah, if you can manage it.
Yeah.
Like Cambridge or Oxford online. It keeps you thinking in English rather than just swapping words with your native language.
Makes sense. What about other challenges, like losing motivation or feeling like you just don't have time?
Well, for motivation, it comes back to choosing stuff you genuinely find interesting.
Right. If you're bored, you'll stop.
Exactly. Maybe switch to something easier or more fun for a bit. A comic, a blog about your hobby, just to keep the habit going.
And the no time problem.
Embrace short sessions. Seriously, 5 or 10 minutes is way better than nothing. Read while waiting for the bus, during a coffee break. Use those little moments. They even sketched out a sample week. Monday, 2 paragraphs. Tuesday, a news article. Wednesday, song lyrics. Totally doable.
Okay. One more challenge. Long texts. Big articles or book chapters can feel intimidating.
Yeah, definitely. The key there is break it down. Don't try to eat the whole elephant at once.
So read paragraph by paragraph.
Or page by page. Read a small section, then maybe pause and quickly summarize it in your head or out loud. Okay, this part was about...
Highlighting could help too. Key sentences.
Yeah, focusing on the main ideas first before getting lost in the details. Read a 5-page story over 5 days, maybe taking a few notes each day.
And they mentioned reading aloud again and taking notes.
Right. Reading aloud helps with the sound and rhythm, makes it feel less dense. Taking notes, main idea, new words, a quick summary helps you process and remember it.
And maybe read difficult bits twice.
That can make a huge difference. The second time through, you often pick up way more. So yeah, there are definitely strategies to tackle these common hurdles.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. This deep dive into the end of flow ideas really paints a clear picture, doesn't it? Reading is seriously powerful for learning English.
Absolutely. It's not passive.
Yeah.
It actively builds your vocabulary and context, embeds grammar naturally,
Improves your understanding, makes you a better writer, more natural speaker.
and even gives you that cultural understanding. It hits all the key areas.
And the big takeaway message seems to be about consistency, right?
Totally. It doesn't have to be hours every day. Even just a little bit done regularly adds up. Every page you read is a step forward.
It's a journey, and reading is a steady way to travel.
Well put. It builds that confidence and fluency over time.
So, for you listening right now, maybe just take a second. Think about it. What will you read next?
A short story. An article. That book you bought ages ago.
Just pick something. Let that thought sit with you. Keep reading. Keep learning.